All right. This is a really, really late night live stream. I just got off of work. Um, well, I got off at 10, but drove in, driving in, I got an urging for a cigar. So stopped by the cigar shop, picked up this. This is something new that I'm trying. It's an older cigar. It came out about 50. Oh, you got to be able to see that. It's Origin by Jesus Fuego, I guess. But this cigar must be like, I don't know, at least 15 years old from what I was able to um, find information on. Hey, Mal, how you go? How you doing? Thanks for dropping in. I just got off of work. I was just telling that I'm in the. I wanted to have a cigar, so I stopped by the cigar shop and picked up a few new cigars that I haven't tried. I told the person that was working there to surprise me. Oh wow, there's a lot of you guys that are still awake. What are you guys doing up so late? Especially you guys in the East Coast. Uh, Nick, thanks for coming in. Linda, thanks for being here. Small time thanks. Thanks for being here, man. With the background music too. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to hang out and chill, and wanted to have a vibe. I don't know. Is the background music too loud? Because for me it isn't, but I know sometimes it doesn't translate um, to the actual live stream, and it can be blurring you guys out. You guys can't really hear me, so let me know if it's too loud or not loud enough. Whatever the case is, either way is fine. But like the thumbnail said, um, it's been a while since I've gone live. Um, I'm trying to remember when was the last time I went live. I think the last time I did a live stream was when I had a um, Funk, Dan from Consolidated Fish Farms, and Louise from excuse me, Elite Menagerie Habitats. Haha, just finished up water changes. Hopefully, no egg problems. Oh, your egg problems are over? Yeah, probably. I heard it was 114 in Yuma. Yeah, it was hot today. We're way hotter than we should be for this time of the year. But our winter wasn't very cold either. We might have had maybe about a week where the temperatures dipped into the 40s, the low 40s. But it was only about a week. Typically, we'll get at least a month and a half of that weather. But not yeah, pick up the slack. No kidding. But yeah, no, none. We didn't get any of that this year. It was, I mean, it was New Year's Eve actually, and we were walking around still in shorts and t-shirts. I might have worn a jacket maybe 2 or 3 times this winter. That's how mild of a winter we had. As a matter of fact, typically the snowbirds that come down and visit the Yuma area don't leave till in April, mid-April, end of April. They're all gone now. They all started hitting up north because it got, well, like you saw, the temperatures have been in the 3 digits. It's been it's been crazy hot. But I don't know. I'm a little concerned because that means I'll be brutal, uh, which is going to be interesting to see how that plays out with all the stuff going around the world, and whether resources are available or not available. That's debatable, but it's going to be quite a year, to say the least. So as far as what's been going on, as far as the tanks, um, everything is pretty much the same as the last update I did. Yeah, it's been crazy weather. It's been crazy weather. Um, there hasn't really been much changes other than I'm getting rid of some empty tanks that I have, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I don't know how many of you guys, I know most of you guys know that about 2 years ago, around this time of the year, um, I set up, with the help of several people from the community, a display tank a 75-gallon community tank for the Children's Museum. Well, the director for the museum reached out to me about a week ago, if I'm not mistaken, and told me that they have this section in the building that they want to make it into a glow light, or a, I don't know, black light room, I guess that would be the correct term. And she wants to set up a glowfish tank. And it was so funny because I guess she understands how controversial, I guess, glowfish can be. That she knows that, I do this, that I have a channel and I do all this other stuff. She's like, yeah, I want to do a glowfish tank. Is that okay with you? I said, it's got nothing to do with me. I mean, I understand the purpose of glowfish. If anybody should have a glowfish tank, it's definitely the Children's Museum, in my opinion. So that's really the target audience. And you set it up in a black light room where they're going to have arts and like hand little, like Legos, or not Legos, but stuff that they can use with their hands to build stuff that is all going to be glow in the dark. So I said, yeah, that makes perfect sense. And so I have an empty, I guess it's a 65-gallon tank where it used to house my, if you go look at my old videos when my fish room was set up like a U shape, right behind me, there used to be the 150 that sat on top of the stand, and right below it used to be that 65-gallon where I had the goldfish. So I'm going to clean that up. I'm off tomorrow. That's the other reason why I'm streaming so late. I don't have to get up early. So I'm going to clean that up, scrape it down, because it's got a lot of gunk and stuff from when it was set up, and I just put it on its side and it's just been sitting there. So I'm going to get rid of that. I have a weird, it's like a 29, except it's, what is it, 28 inches tall. So it's like a 33-gallon. It's like an oddball tank. Basically a 29 gallon, but it's got a few more inches. So you get like 4 more gallons of water in it. It's like a 33 or something like that. I'm going to take that over there. They have a basement. I'm going to tell her I can put those in the basement. And I have a 55-gallon tank with the old wooden frame on it, the fake wood frame on it. And that one is like the old style of glass, a real thick, heavy glass. Hey, what's up, Clutch Abuse? Thanks for being here. And so I'm going to take those 3 tanks. It'll open up some of the space that I have in here in the garage. And then I still have a rack that I need to get rid of, but that's probably another thing that I might address today. It's still in the air. Well, what I guess so that you guys get an idea where my head's at right now. Initially, when I went away from that U-shape, the U-shape aquarium setup that I had, it was practical for me because everything was within reach. I could sit in the middle of it. I was surrounded by tanks. The only problem with that is, you see that door right there? As soon as you would walk out that door into the garage, it was just kind of like right in the middle. It wasn't interfering with the door, but my wife didn't like that look because it felt like she was walking into a wall. So she said, why don't you just open up the whole fish room? So this is kind of like what ended up being predominantly my, I guess, quote unquote, my fish room. I still have, what is it, 4 tanks on this side of the room, a rack with 220 longs. Oh yeah, and I got a 7-gallon UNS tank that I kind of did a little short about. Hey, First Class, long time no see, my friend. I hope you're doing well. And oh yeah, I got that 7-gallon. It's a rimless little UNS tank, 7-gallon tank. And kind of teased a picture of it. It's still sitting the same way as the picture is because I really haven't decided where I'm going to put it. That's really what's going on. And I started the process of emptying out the tote to move the shell dwellers that I have in there. I'm going to relocate them Mm. Make sure my cigar doesn't go out. Okay, now I can talk some more. Same to you. Yeah, I've been doing good. Can't complain. Yeah, actually, I don't have anything to complain about. Um, and so yeah, that's why it's still sitting there. With the only thing I've done is I've kind of arranged the driftwood the way I wanted it. I'm around here when and there when I can. Well, glad to see that you're still around because you were MIA for a while. But I'm glad you're back. And and just kind of glued the driftwood to some stone just to keep it. I kind of like the setup that it has, and did that with the set it up that way. Oh, what I was getting at. I guess it was Saturday afternoon. I had posted on our Facebook group probably last year, last year on this time of the year. That's how old that post was. That I was trying to sell off some guppy grass and some jungle veil. Well, this lady sent me a message. She goes, "Hey, are you still?" I'm looking at the date stamp on the post, and I'm going, "Really, lady? Well, I guess it doesn't hurt to reach out and see, even though it's an old post, to see what's going on." So just it just so happened that I was looking at thinning out some of the guppy grass in my my mud guppy tank. Um, and she came by, and she was originally just going to pick up some guppy grass. Well, I in the past I had set up this fish room to kind of be able to sell out of here. That's kind of something I was looking at doing. I was gonna try to get my LLC and start wholesaling. Mm. And that was kind of in the works, but then I let somebody convince me that it probably wasn't going to be a good idea because a lot of these wholesalers won't sell to businesses unless you have a hey Lalito Mix, thank you, gracias por estar aquí. They won't sell to you unless you're a brick and mortar. And at the time, I didn't know of any places that would sell to I guess home businesses, if that's what you wanted to call it. So what I was doing, I was buying up like inventory at throughout, stocking up the tanks that I had. I had kind of set up like the idea of starting up a little business. And it went okay for a while, but when you live in a small community, the thing is, you really you can really saturate the market. That's when I was breeding the angelfish. As a matter of fact, it was only like 2 clutches that I raised to juvenile sizes. I was able to sell most of them. The last batch, I kind of offloaded. I did like I sold to a pet store, kind of like a wholesale thing. And there must have been like 15 angelfish that I did that with. And but they it's one of those things where there are customer bases, but then you can only sell to so many people. But anyways, this lady reached out. She came and picked up the guppy grass, saw what I had, and she kept telling me, she goes, "Oh, she has this like enormous tank. I forget, she said like 258 gallons, but it's like a really weird configuration because it's like really tall. It's like 40 some inches tall. It's kind of like a wall tank, and she has angelfish in there with some corridoras, but a bunch of fake plants. So she wanted to start getting some natural plants. So she took a bunch of veil. She basically almost cleared me out of all the jungle veil that I had. Make sure check zoning laws for such homeowner insurance. Why not cover certain things? Yeah. Well, what they don't know won't hurt them. I guess that was kind of my mentality about at that time. But I mean, it would be no different than the tanks I currently have. Um, the other thing that was kind of interesting though is I was trying to figure out how to deal with the foot traffic. Um, it started off well, but then once in a while you get some weird people, and I don't think I felt comfortable with them knowing where I live. That happened to me with like two different clients. Where after they left, I wasn't concerned. I guess I not anything like serious, but it's kind of like I started thinking, wow, I don't know the people that come to my house. They're total strangers, and I'm kind of it's in the garage. They're not coming into the house, but just knowing people knowing where I live, I started feeling kind of weird. And one of the things that I did a couple of times the last time around when I was selling stuff, like a regular basis, I was doing like a DoorDash, but with and even Funk told me, dude, that is pretty interesting that you're doing that, because I would have people that would uh, ask me they wanted to buy stuff, but it's so funny here because this town is not really that big, but people don't like to drive. So I deliver them, and I was there was obviously at first somebody suggested, because I was gonna have to drive. It was like a 25-minute drive from my house to where I had to go take, and I told the guy, I said, that's kind of far. He goes, dude, I'll pay you for the delivery. So I said, all right. I told him, just like really not wanting to do it. I said, oh, I'll do it for $20 on top of whatever it is you order. That's the part I meant. Foot traffic. Yeah. Someone falls, etc. Also might come over and take up 2 hours of your time. That's okay. So what I'm planning to do this time around, if I decide to do it again, it's still kind of up in the air, but I started doing like either they have it's going to be the option of either um I deliver it for a fee, and that guy, I charged him like $20. He was like, yeah, I'll do it. That part of get taxed too much, make a side money, bro. Unless you see it, don't worry about it. You could just be selling stuff on OfferUp. Yeah. Here's the interesting part, and this is something that I've been doing for the last I think this is my third year that I was able to do this. Even right now that I don't have a business, they consider this is obviously this information is based off of living in Arizona. I don't know what other states do, but for the state of Arizona, one of the beautiful things is that you can write off expenses for your hobby. Um, and this is something that happened is because I do go out and do store tours. Yeah, Jorge's Fish Dash, something like that. Um, because I do go, like when we go to San Antonio. Obviously, I'm not going there for the fish stores. We're going there to see family, but I'm already there for a few days. And what ended up okay, I'm kind of jumping ahead of the story. When I finally monetized, I got my 1099 from YouTube. It was like $500 or something like that for the very first year I monetized. So I was asking the tax lady, I said, you know what? I got this stuff from YouTube. I don't know how to deal with it. She goes, oh, you have a YouTube channel? I said, yeah. It's a small channel, I said. She goes, oh, did you know you can write off expenses associated with that? And I was like, tell me more. And she says, like if you use a computer, your cell service, anything that you're using, if you're buying equipment, cameras and all that stuff, you can write all that stuff out. And I thought, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. She goes, and I told her, well, one of the things that I do is I'll travel. And hey, Ed, I have relatives in San Antonio. Okay. And I said, I do travel. And when I travel, I'll go visit stores while I'm there and all that stuff. She goes, well, how do you get there? She asked me. I said, no, usually we drive. She goes, well, you can write off your mileage off of that. And I was like, really? My eyes lit up. So obviously, every year so far, up till this year, I've been able to offset my taxes for Arizona because I end up spending more money than what I am making, and I end up getting a refund. It's been so far every year I've been able to do that. So obviously that's the same thing with if I do the LLC stuff, I'll be able to write off a lot of the stuff that I'm doing for mileage and stuff like that. Now the other thing that I think also that if I do the LLC, since I'll be able to apply for a business credit card, visit a fish store. Yeah, I do. As a matter of fact, that's why I have a lot of. If you go look at my channel, just this year so far, I've been to Florida. So I went to Florida and I went to visit Aquafunk. I went to visit Consolidated Fish Farms, and I went to go see the Tampa Bay Aquarium Society's club meeting. All in this trip, and then I also got to meet Uncle Joe's fish shed, Jody. And then at the fish club, I got to meet Ryan from Wild Fish Tanks, and I got to meet the president or vice president of the club, who also has a YouTube channel called Killy Trans. So that was all stuff that I'm going to be able to write off for this year. And what I was thinking, this is obviously my thinking, is like right now the easiest thing for me to be able to write off is mileage. Why? Because I have a record of that. And what's the record is, I can go to Google Map, I can type in my home address, the store that I'm going to see, and write off the round trip. The miles from my house to the business and back. And my proof that was done is obviously the video. So if IRS ever comes and checks on me, I didn't want to do the computers, I didn't want to do the microphones, I didn't want to do the lights, none of that stuff. I didn't want to do the stuff for the aquariums, because then you got to hang on to receipts, and I don't know how many years you want to do that. But mileage is super easy to do, and to prove it, all I got to do is turn on my YouTube channel. They can look at the name of the store. We can look it up to see where it's on the address. I have and that's what I'll do. I'll print out the Google map that shows the mileage, and I'll just write on there the date and the name of the store that I went to go visit. So that's been working for me recently. This last year, I think I had over 2,600 and almost 2,700 miles that I was able to write off. So I really offset I'm going to be positive on my return. I think like $1,000 that I was able to get back from the state of Arizona. So it's not a bad deal. And what I was getting at, I think if I do the LLC, then because you do get to open up a business line of credit, or not a line of credit, an account, a business account, I can document that, because now if I use that dedicated debit card, I can do all these other minor purchases, and I'll permanently have receipts for that, because it'll be all electronically archived in the bank statements, or I can print them out, or whatever it is I need to do, instead of having a fish for receipts. I have a digital record. So, and the other thing that I was thinking about, I don't know if I'll do fish. I don't know if I'll do fish for sale, but plants sell. I mean, guppy grass. That's probably, she was looking at hornwort that I had, but I don't have a whole lot because I usually throw it out. I had just gone through and cleared out a lot of these floater plants. Like I have some dwarf water lettuces and guppy. I mean, not guppy. The herpes, the water herpes. God, I'm drawing a blank. The little small green stuff. Can't believe I can't. My brain's not working. We could just tell the government they track us everywhere. They should know. Yeah, exactly. Nowadays, it's even getting worse and worse because your phone, if you got a cell phone, that's got a record of everywhere you've been. Mm. Duckweed. Yeah, duckweed. That's the word I was looking for. So yeah, duckweed, buckwheat, duckweed. Yeah, and so and they'll even come looking for that stuff, and I always give it to them. So I was thinking I might do things formally now. I might. I still don't know. I still, as a matter of fact, I have an appointment with the accounting firm that I use to do my taxes, and but they said to wait till after the tax deadlines, and be able to do that. And the reason I'm saying that is because, like, I've never written off my hotel rooms, my meals, any day-to-day purchases that I do, like buying fish food and stuff like that, because I don't want to track it. It's just a pain in the butt. I don't want to sit there and have to go through our personal bank statements and try to figure out what was what. But if I do the LLC, then I can have a card that's specifically assigned to those type of things, and it'll make it much easier to separate. Sometimes I type fast. Yeah. I wish I could type fast. I can't. I'm a two-finger typer. That's the way I type. I can't do and I have to look at the keyboard. Well, sort of. I've done it for so long now that muscle memory just kind of knows where certain keys are. As a matter of fact, I was supposed to take keyboarding when I was this is back in high school. It used to be typing, but by the time, I guess my freshman year, it was still called typing / keyboarding, because they were starting to integrate computers, but they didn't have enough computers for everybody. So some people were doing typewriters. As a matter of fact, I think that was you took that, I want to say it was either your sophomore or junior year, because it was an elective that you had to take. And I remember, it's either you did that or you did shorthand, I think, which I wasn't going to do shorthand. I was never going to use shorthand. So I was going to do I thought I was going to be able to do the keyboarding. But, okay, so I remember my freshman year, it used to be that. By my sophomore year, they had finally gotten computers for all the classrooms. So it just became keyboarding. The typewriters had become obsolete. Plus they were noisier, and you had to buy ribbons for them. So it was, for the school, it made sense because it was cost effective. It's less materials you had to buy. Plus, every day it seemed like more and more businesses were running computers, not typewriters. But I think even in junior high, did we have a typing class? I never took it though. I never took it. And yeah, you remember that change? But what ended up happening, by my sophomore year, I ended up getting a job on campus where I would use my lunch break and one of my electives to be able to work 2 hours every day on campus. And it was through a program that the state of California had, which was called Youth Experience Services, because the acronym was YES. And what I loved about that, because I played all sports in high school. I was in the fall I played football. Well, I guess it was summer slash fall. Well, the beginning of the school year, I played football, and then I would go play basketball once the football season was over, and then in the spring I played baseball. And so because I was always playing sports, I really couldn't get an after school job. So um, that's why when one of my JV football coach, he's the one that told me, he goes, "Hey, do you have?" He asked me, "Do you have a job?" I was like, "I can't get a job because after school we're practicing." He goes, "Good." He goes, "I need bodies to fill," because it was a new program. He goes, "Mr. Was it Mr. Shidas?" Yeah, I think it was Mr. Shidas that was in charge of the YES program. He goes, um, "You're gonna work during lunch, and you're gonna give up your what was it, fifth period elective. It's gonna be work work education or something like that." So I said, "Cool." So it allowed me to make a little bit of money during school time and still be able to be involved with practices and stuff like that. I wouldn't have to miss practices, and I didn't have to work after school, which, that was a cool deal for me. Mm. Mm. You see, Ed said, "I think we had typewriters, but I went to school in Illinois, so we have to been poor." You know what it was? I think, well, California always giving grants and programs, and I think our school had just. You see, I graduated class of 91, so 91, 90 was my junior year. 89 was my summer. 88 was my freshman year. And so I guess they must have been transitioning by then. I mean, most places I remember had computers anyways. So okay. So Anthony says his mom made him learn early, but it was still not awesome. Uh, but I always admired people that I guess because I've always been so hyper. I couldn't say, "Oh, you're class of 92. You're younger than." Yeah, I guess you are younger than me, Ed. Yeah, because I'm from 1972. I'm out. Take care. All right, small times. Thanks for hanging out for a little bit. And so yeah, because I remember I must have been. I want to say it was either fifth grade, where we had a computer room. It wasn't a classroom. It was like in a computer lab room, and we were learning MS DOS 2. I think that's what it was. And I remember you sit there and you would print out the pair, or print out with X's and with the little X's, and the DOS machine. 73 for me. Okay, so you're just a year younger than me, Ed. And so I remember we were kind of looking at computers. There must have been some Macintosh back then, because I think Apple was the first one that started getting into the classrooms. Which I remember I was trying to play games on them, but yeah, that was the only thing that there was. Miss McBee or something that taught you typing. I remember that. Miss McBeavis, something like that. There used to be a little software program that would help you. I tried it a couple times, but I got frustrated because I couldn't get this finger to isolate it. Every time I put it down, this finger moves with it. So I was always mistyping, and I used to get pissed off because I couldn't get the scores that I wanted, so I just left it alone. Anthony, you're class of 92 too, huh? Bunch of old farts in here. That was in advanced school. Then we moved, and then I went to Catholic grade school. Abacus. Yeah, that little thing with the bead balls on it. I don't think I ever learned how to use it. I don't ever remember having. I mean, I would see them around, but I didn't even know how to operate one. I know that each row, I think it's supposed to have a denominational value, if I remember correctly. Um, but yeah, I don't think I ever learned how to. I'm pretty sure if I watch a YouTube video, it'll teach me how to do math on it. But anyway, I think I got way off the subject because I was supposed to go back. Oh, so this lady shows up and she starts looking around. And in my past experiences, Mrs. B, yeah. And I remember, oh, in the past, people have always come and, they come for one thing. I think if you have a business, the thing is, if you get them in the door, they're always going to spend more than what they intended to spend, for the most part. That's the only reason why I kind of like having people come over. The problem is you don't know everybody that's coming over. So, but this lady, I was looking at her, I was stalking her because I looked at her Facebook profile and she seemed like a normal person. So I said, yeah, come on over. She came in here, she started looking around. I have a group of, I think it was three or four long fin bristle albino long fin bristlenose that are already adults. It took me years to grow those out. And she saw one of them, she fell in love with it. Well, I was prepared just to, I think we had already agreed on a quantity of what the things were going to be. It's going to be like for a bag of guppy grass for like $10. She wanted some shrimp, and I think I sold them for like $5 a shrimp, something like that. I ended up giving her more though. I think it was like $5 per, because I didn't think she was going to want them, but she said, yeah, I'll take them. So I ended up scooping up a bunch and giving her obviously a bunch of extras. So she took that the guppy grass and that was the two things that she was going to pick up. So I told her the total was like $30 for what she wanted. Well, she came in here and she started looking around and she goes, oh my God, I want, are you selling this? And everything's for sale in my fish room. If people are willing to pay what I ask for, I'll sell it. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have the one thing I won't sell. That doesn't exist. Even these tanks, if they want to buy them, I'll sell them. But obviously they got to pay what I asked for, or else we won't make a deal. But either way, she started looking around. She saw one of those long fin plecos, and she goes, "Oh, by the way, I know it was like $30." She goes, "Do you have change for 100?" And I was like, "Who really has change for 100?" Not me. And I told her, "No, but if you got Zelle, I'll take Zelle." And she goes, "Oh, okay, well, I'll do that." And she kept saying, "But I brought $100. Why don't you give me enough plants for $100?" I was like, "Ma'am, I don't have enough plants for $100. I don't think there's enough plants in all my tanks that I can sell you 100 plants." I was being real honest with her, but she was adamant. She goes, "Come on, I got the $100, and you don't have change, so just fill it up with." I was like, "All right, well, here's the deal. I'll just get as much as I can. It's not $100." I said, I'm not going to be able to sell you $100 worth of product. I don't have $100 worth of product of what you wanted. She asked me for those longfin bristlenose. They're full adults. It took me a long time to get them to that point. Now they're actually a breeding size. So I kind of told her, I threw a price at her, kind of like hoping that she would say, "Oh no, I don't want it." I said, "Give me $20 for it. It's yours." She didn't even bat an eye. She goes, "Done, bag it up." And then I had one angelfish, but it was a full grown. It's a 125, so he was big. He was really big. And then the reason I put him in there is because I have guppies. Oh, this is a live bear tank. They're all live bears, and live bears are dropping fry all the time. So my idea was I'm gonna put the only angelfish I had, put him in there, and it's gonna do crowd control. It's not gonna eat all the fry because it's got a lot of plants, a lot of hiding areas, but it's gonna pick off some, and I'm okay with that. If he wants to do that, that's fine. So he was really big because he had an endless supply of food in there. The only thing I didn't like is he was starting to pick off some of the shrimp that were in there. He was getting real smart about how to pick them off. But they're just kind of there. I'm not really breeding anything for profit in my fish room. The stuff that breeds, I was going to go to OCA. I love that show, but my girlfriend broke up with me the week before, so I was in a good mood. And this year it's canceled. Oh, okay. Sorry to hear that, Ed. That's a good yes. You're not kidding. I honestly I didn't feel comfortable with her because she kept saying, "No, come on, I'll give you the $100." Even when it was all said and done, like I ripped out. If you go look at the last short that I uploaded of the Guppy Trank. What am I saying? Guppy Trank, the Guppy Tank. You could see that it was really full of guppy grass and jungle val. And if you look at it now, you're like, "Whoa, what happened to that tank?" Because it's almost bare. And actually, she sent me a message. She was very happy. Oh, okay. Well, let me finish. I'm really terrible with my story. So I just started picking out plants from all my tanks, whatever I could. I just randomly I gave her a nice size Amazon sword that I was growing. I had some, a few years with it. The roots were as a matter of fact, it made a mess in the tank because I was trying to pull them out while the roots had hit the bottom of the tank and had gone across quite a. I mean, the roots were longer than the actual sword, and so that was, and I've had that sword there for a long time, so it was really growing in really nice. It's a really nice Amazon sword, so I gave her that. Well, I didn't give her. I guess I sold it to her technically. Yeah, I'm kind of like you, Ed. I'm not really fond of getting rid of stuff, and so I try to do my best. I was gonna charge her 60. I told her it's $60 worth of stuff. She hands me the $100 bill and she goes, "Thank you, I appreciate it," and she walked away, and she was happy. I mean, she had a 5-gallon bucket. I probably filled it up all the way halfway up with jungle val, some Balancé Crips. What else did I have? Oh, the Amazon sword. Some dwarf sage, just pulled out some stuff, and what else did I give her? As much of stuff as anything she said that she wanted, I was kind of pulling it out. So, I was kind of feeling a little bit. I don't know. I don't want to say embarrassed, but I felt like I didn't want to. Like I was telling Funk about this earlier today because we were talking. I said, "Dude, I kind of feel bad because I'm a terrible salesperson. That's why I've never worked in sales." And what I mean by that, I know the prices that I like to pay for stuff, and I'm a cheap bastard. I mean, I'm as cheap as they come. I like free. Free is my favorite price. But so I always undersell. I always undervalue what I sell. Everybody tells me, "Dude, you know how much?" I said, "Yeah, but I've never been able to." My wife is a good salesman. She's totally the opposite of me. She would have half of the shit that I gave that lady. she would have said, "Here's $100." She would have no problems with that. I, on the other hand, felt like I was shorting her. But anyway, she was very happy. She sent me an email and she loved the Jungle Belt because it's a 125 and it's gotten up and it's grown over the top. So it's really long. So it fit perfect for her tank because her tank is so tall. I think it was like 40. I think she said it was like 46 inches. It's like I never heard of a tank that tall, but it's a custom in the wall tank that she had made. I forget. She said it was like 200 and some gallons, 280 gallons or something like that. But it was like a weird dimension. So she was really, really excited about that. But I even right now, I don't feel comfortable with the quantity that I gave her. That I even asked her. I said, "Did you have enough plants?" She goes, "Oh, I'll buy some more of that guppy grass. I'm not the guppy grass of the Jungle Belt. You have some." So obviously, I'm not going to sell it to her. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to pull out as much as I can. I don't want to pull it all out because I want to be able to have some more for later on. But I'm just going to give it to her. I'm not. I can't charge her again. She overpaid, in my opinion, for what she took. So I've been kind of wrestling with that all day because I was trying to figure out a way to give her some more value for what she took. But she was happy with what she had anyways. But I just, for me to be able to be comfortable with myself, I got to do something more. I felt like I didn't do enough. I don't know. I'm just, like I said, I'm a terrible salesperson. But doing that, it gave me, I've always said, because if I look on our Facebook pages, yeah, I know, but I know she was very happy. She was super pleased. Well, because there isn't anywhere here locally where you can pick up plants. The only thing we have is a PetSmart. That's it. There's no LFSs. The closest LFSs, doesn't matter which direction you go, are all over 2-hour drives easily. It doesn't matter if you go east, west, or south or north. They're all 2-hour distance, unless you go to Mexico. But most people don't want to drive into Mexico. And the plant. Oh, the other thing is you can't cross plants. The border patrol will take your plants. Yeah, I know, but I don't know. It's just I'm kind of funny that way. I always tell people how much stuff is, and I always end up giving them more just because I just want to feel. You know what it is? I know what it is. I have been very fortunate that a lot of the stuff you guys see here is all stuff that has been given to me. So in a way, I feel like I have to give back, and I think that's why I do that. That's why I do a lot of the stuff that I do. Like I was telling you guys about. Some of you guys weren't here. A couple of years ago, I set up a fish tank for the Children's Museum out here in Yuma, and even at the time they wanted to pay for the aquarium and all that stuff, and I to this day I haven't charged them. I go every 2 weeks and do maintenance on that aquarium. My wife has even told me, there's been people even here from the chat, Ed, don't do that, please, thank you. What was I saying? Oh, and they've told me, either you should find somebody else to do maintenance on that tank, or charge them for doing the maintenance. It's like I can't do. Like I said, I'm a terrible business person, because I don't know. I kind of felt that for me, it's a way to give back for a lot of the good things that have happened to me. So that's why I can, in good faith, charge the Children's Museum to go do maintenance on something that all I'm doing is going in there and doing a water change and making sure everything's okay. I'll trim back some plants, and that is what it is. That tank, again, goes to say how fortunate I am. I had people that helped me put it together. I did, other than the stand that I built for it and the aquarium, everything else people wanted to help me, and they send me stuff. Keith, KJE Aquatics, rest in peace. He sent me food. He sent me chemicals for the aquarium so that I could do the water changes, for supplies for a whole year. Um, Alex Fathom Aquatics sent me like $100 gift card for aquarium co-op because he wanted to make sure that if they needed anything for the maintenance of that aquarium, whatever it was or whatever was needed, that they could be able to pay for it out of that gift card. Um, uh, oh, Steve from Warrior Planet Tanks, he got me all the fish. He got me all the fish. And then a friend of mine who owns a fish store in Phoenix, he gave me all the plants. So the only to this day, I feel like, doing the service for it is the least that I can do. And it's a way to give back to the community too. So I don't have a problem with not charging them anything. To be honest, it makes me feel better more. It makes me feel better as a person if I do that and not charge them. I don't know if that's just kind of mental jiu-jitsu that I'm kind of doing for myself. We had a tank in my grade school, and it was the highlight of the day and helped me fuel my interest to this day. Well, I see the reaction of these kids, and there isn't a kid that doesn't get that when they come into because it's almost like right at the entrance. I've done videos of where it's at and kind of shown it off. But just being able to see how these kids light up, that's the coolest part. And when they see me doing maintenance on it, obviously I had one little, he must have been like 3 or 4 years old, and he came, no, don't put your hands in the aquarium, no. And his mom had to come over and tell him, no, he's working on it or whatever. But the little kid was like, no. I thought that was so funny. But just that kind of stuff really feels really nice. So same here. We had a fish tank in elementary library that I loved. The red tails, sharks swimming circles. Yeah, I remember going to public areas when I was a kid. I don't know if this is just a thing down here and when I was living in Mexicali, or it's in all Asian restaurants. But all the Asian restaurants that are, well, not anymore. I don't think that's a thing anymore. I think there's only a few that actually do have them. But they always had at least goldfish and koi tanks. They always had some sort of a aquarium in them. I remember specifically the dentist's office. That's when I saw Finding Nemo, I was laughing my butt off because that's so true. The two dentist offices that I visited, because I had one dentist when we were living in LA. And then when we moved over here to the Imperial Valley, I had to change dentists. And those two dentists, I remember them having aquariums in them, in the lobby. So I guess you had more engagement with aquariums. Our public library down here, I think they just recently got rid of it. I don't know if they upgraded because I remember seeing that tank sold, but it was a saltwater tank with some sea urchins and some other, corals and stuff like that was set up in the library. And I used to go sit in front of that aquarium, even though I have all of these. I was taking my grandkids for summer reading camps or whatever, and they'd be sitting in there listening to the book stories, and I'd kind of sneak out and go sit in front of the aquarium and just kind of sit there. So even now, if there's an aquarium anywhere, I will usually go check it out. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's something about me and that connection to aquariums, and it's so funny now that I can't believe I went almost 30 years in between aquariums. Because I had them as a lake teen from like my around 16 to 18 is when I had a 10-gallon. My only tank that I had was a 10-gallon slate bottom. What do they call them? Metaframes. That's what I had. That was my aquarium, and I did all kinds of horrible shit in that aquarium. But yeah, so that lady came in, and then now that I saw that again, I was thinking again, because I still want to do a little bit of a side business. If I'm gonna do the LLC, might as well take advantage of being able to buy some extra stuff. So I don't want to put more tanks. Actually, what is probably going to happen, let me see if we can see. Okay, there's that rack right there, and then there's all these tanks over here. What's going to happen with these? Oh, let me get the light out. That's that other rack that is usually not on camera, but that's a 75. That's like a low boy 55. Right next to it over there, that is a 55, and that's like a 33 gallon cube. And those are the only other aquariums. That and then the 20 longs. And if you look, you can see my mess. I'm gonna see if I don't lose you guys. Stupid ring light. Let me see. Hopefully I don't lose you guys. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to see it. But the dark area over there is the old rack that I used to have, which used to hold 16 10-gallon tanks, and that's what I was trying to sell out of. Now I got to rearrange the lights. All right, maybe we'll take this back over here. All right, that's back more to normal. My brick was long too, but not totally intentional. Oh. Yeah, no, for me, it's just I got busy. I got busy with school, and then I took off for the military, and then got back and started a family and kids, and I just never really got back into it. Almost until, actually, no, not almost. Once we became empty nesters, that's when I finally started getting back into the tanks. Oh. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to take that 75 gallon that's there, and I'm going to put it in this rack that I have over here above the goldfish pond. And that'll be it for all my large tanks. I'm going to get rid of all the 55s, the 33 cube. I'm going to break those down. Probably going to break down the 20 longs that you saw over there. And if I can pull it off, I won't get rid of the rack that I had. Excuse me, the 10 gallons. And I'll probably slide it where that 75 was at, above the 50-gallon low boy. And that's going to be where I'm going to try to sell plants out of. I want to be able to set up a few tanks with plants, and then maybe pick up periodic, not on a regular basis, but pick up groups of like 20 species of nanofish. And it's not always going to be the same stuff. Like I wanted to pick up I was talking to Funk. He was telling me some of the pricing for like Rasboras. Do like some Rasboras, some Daniels, and then definitely do some mixed guppies, male guppies, and endlers, and bring that a group of those, sell those, and then once those sell, try to bring in a different species of fish, because this way, my thinking is, I won't flood the market with the same fish. I won't have like this endless selection. So like I don't know how long they'll last, but whenever I play Snorter, it'll be for something totally different. So that there's always constant movement, and I don't have to bring in a lot. I'm not looking to make this to be like a money generating, but more of a self-sustaining kind of business. That'll allow me to be able to take some of those profits and reinvest them into whatever it is that I'm selling, and offset the cost of running the fish room. That's pretty much it. That's all I'm looking to do. What I'll probably end up doing is either there's a couple of public areas where I'll usually I'm gonna guess it's a 40 long and a 55. What size tanks over your left shoulder? Oh, this one is a 50-gallon lowboy, a 125, but it's a 125 that has a 48 inch by 24 by 25. I think is the height. That one is a lowboy. It's also a 48 by 24 by 10. That's a regular 29 gallon. That's a 50-gallon lowboy. No, a 50 gallon. A 20 long that I took the top frame off of it. To, it's a baller on a budget rimless. That's what that is. And then that's a like a 15-gallon pond that's made out of a cement mixer liner. And I just wrapped it with some cedar wood around it. But yeah, those are the only ones. These will continue to be the primary tanks. That is that's the catch-all. That is it's a breeding tank / quarantine tank / whatever it needs to be tank. It'll be a hospital tank. In there, I have some pseudomagills, the forktails, and a group of 5 Von Rio tetras that are quarantining. And then I still have 150 gallon one of those stocking ponds, livestock ponds, where I'm growing out the goldfish. And above that, I want to move that 75 that I was telling you, and those will be my display tanks or my personal tanks. Get rid of all this other stuff, and then hopefully, because I know that's going to be a battle, with set up that rack with those 16 10-gallon tanks, and that's the only thing I'm going to set up for sale. And obviously they'll pull double duty. Some of them pull double duty. Right on. So that 55 lowboys are different than the 60. It's a 50-gallon lowboy, and it's a frag tank. Zoo Med sells them, and they were intended to be for I guess splitting corals or growing corals, and it's really like a reef tank, but for propagating corals. That's the word I was looking for. But it's the ideal tank. Obviously, not my idea. I saw Primetime Aquatics had one of those tanks on caster wheels, and they had the same species of fish, some Neolamprologus multifasciatus, some shellies in there. Except theirs, I don't think has any plants. Instigator. Got a good rant today. Yeah, it was good. I thought you were I thought you were gonna focus more on all the other channels that were that are doing the AI stuff. I don't know what to think of that. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I know Funk definitely has his opinions about those. Brenton's Fish did a whole video on them. Jorge's Flawless said that land name will and but I don't know what side of it do I fall on. I don't think AI could do the type of videos that I do, I guess. I know you were talking about most people don't show their face. They can't really. If it's an AI video, it's really hard. It's really hard to. I don't watch them either. As soon as I started, there was one channel that I subbed to, thinking that it was a new channel. You know how I'm always looking for new channels, and but when I started seeing, it's like, this is all, it's basically like species profiles that AI generated. And I was like, this is not, one thing, it's not the type of videos that I like to watch. I know you were talking about that store It's funny because that store that is using totally AI, the guy with the bow as a fish head, it didn't start out like that. It used to be the store owner that was doing the videos. I guess because of lack of time and not having time and getting in front of the camera, he decided to go with doing all AI generated videos. But with the fish store, I don't understand how you cannot have good B-roll because you have all the endless supplies of stuff, and that's kind of what he was doing in the beginning. I don't know why. He must have hired somebody to do, or somebody must have approached them and said, "Hey, we can free you up, and we can just do these videos for you." I mean, I think his account's doing really good. It's really grown. I mean, but nowadays it's really difficult. Well, it's not that difficult, but unfortunately, if you at first look, I no longer can be impressed by sub counts. So I can hate. Yeah, no, I'm not saying don't hate it or any. I'm just saying I don't necessarily have an well, I guess my opinion is I don't really care for him. That's I guess I'm kind of like you, but it doesn't really bother me. But if I could print money with minimal effort, see, that's the other thing, and that's what I was talking to Funk. Taking off my shoes. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna take off my shoes because this is gonna get good. I guess we're gonna go on a little side road. That's all my live streams are, anyways. I was talking to Funk because I started looking into this because I got curious, and I know I mentioned it to you when we were texting, and I'm going, okay, what's going to be the situation with these zero effort? I've noticed that a lot of startup channels of all kinds, just all shorts. They set up channels quickly so they can okay, that's what I wanted to get at. The whole making money off of this. I think YouTube is catching on to this. And I remember I was watching all these videos and somebody was talking about, and I don't know if this is like on those, the insider for YouTube kind of format, or one of those like vidIQ or something like that. And that's what they were talking about, because YouTube is aware of the fact that these are not, they're trying to distinguish what kind of channels are going to be able to monetize and which ones can't. And they're trying to determine whether these AI channels would be considered for monetization, because it's not really somebody doing the work. So they're still kind of going back and forth as to how they're gonna deal with this, because they understand that they're going to be losing money on this. If everybody, all of a sudden, you can have one person that'll have multiple channels, and they'll start, like, you know how like those bot farmings are a problem? They're kind of thinking the same thing is going to happen with channels, and they might have one for this hobby. They'll do one for like the dogs or cats, or they can, one person can do a bunch of these in a day, and they can pretty much start farming channels. They'll be like farming channels. I don't know, not farming channels, but they'll be kind of like these Bitcoin farms and all this other stuff that's out there. That's what they're afraid of. So they're trying, and it's funny because it's kind of their fault, because they were really pushing for a while that you used AI to help you generate thumbnails, to help you do the descriptions for your videos. But they didn't realize that people were gonna go, well, I might as well do the entire video that's AI. So now they're trying to work out how much AI is okay versus where all of a sudden you're not going to be able to monetized after that. So that's where they're at now. And it's interesting because this is all happening like really, really fast. Because obviously, they don't want to have to be paying, because these channels reach those monetization goals really, really quick. Because they attract people to them. So it's gotten interesting. I don't know if in the future it's going to be a requirement that they see a real human at some point in the video. I don't know if it'll be the first, the introduction. They're trying to. This is getting way ahead of what they expected it to be, and they're trying to find a solution to it. So that'll be interesting how this all plays out. I don't think I would. I haven't. Look, to this day, I don't really do a lot of editing. I don't think I'm gonna start bothering with doing a lot of the AI stuff. I don't even think my style of videos is suitable for AI. I'm not gonna sit here and type a script. I don't do it now. I'm much less gonna do that to give a description to the AI system of what I want to do. I need to start making cat videos again. Take me an hour in a day after being suspended. What did you get suspended? You got suspended for putting cat videos? Was this cat abuse that you were promoting then? Or did they think you're a bot? They probably thought you were a bot. I had to delete 900 on your regular on this channel. That's weird. I wonder why that was the case. But yeah, that's kind of what is going on now. So we'll see what happens. Irony, considering it's Google that owns YouTube. Yeah. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what happens and how these things end up playing out. But yeah, even YouTube is being affected by the AI advancement. But there were pictures of your cats. Were they videos of your cats, or you were looking for footage of cats? But they kept my money for 3 months. Huh. That's interesting. So there you go. That's a prime example of what they're trying to do to figure this out and sort it out. So we'll see what happens with that. It'll be, I don't know. This is going to be pretty interesting. Yeah, I don't know how this is all going to pan out. Did anybody see Carrie's video today? I think she was talking about I got banned for posting. Yeah, that could be problematic, I guess. Carrie's, I think she did a wrap up of Aquashella. So I'm wondering how the turnout was. I know Funk was out there the first day. I was expecting to see a lot more videos of Aquashella this time around, because they kind of opened it up again to the way it used to be. But I guess because not a lot of people were aware, that's messed up. They have AI animals talking to each other as a tired show. Yeah. But yeah, you can pretty much do anything with AI nowadays. So I'm kind of curious. I don't know if the momentum's picking up. I know they had excellent turnouts in the new venues that they hadn't been to before. They hadn't been in Florida for a year. They kind of skipped that last year. So I know Uncle Joe's Fish Shed I still have to go back and finish watching that, but but I don't know how he felt the turnout was, especially because it was his first time, I think, going to one of these events. You're still seeing if you're gonna go or something. I haven't seen much about the one that happened besides Garden of. Oh, okay. What did Garden of Eater have to say about it? Huh. Okay. Uh. Yeah, I don't know. I know that it was funny because the aquascaping. I remember looking at it because I was thinking of maybe participating in it, but I was looking at the requirements and they wanted you to have some sort of competition background. And I was like, whoa, what did this become like this? But I guess it was having such high demand that they wanted you to have pictures and stuff of stuff that you've done. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'd be able to qualify for that. But when Funk was live streaming, I guess they didn't get enough people meeting the requirements that they were just pulling people off of whoever was there and asking them if they wanted to participate. There was a lot of people that were like first timers that had never done any aquascaping, and as a matter of fact, some of them didn't even have like content channels. They were just people attending the event. So I'm kind of curious how the turnout was. Funk said it was a smaller place, but it was pretty cool. He liked it better than the last time where they had held it before. It was a lot, I guess, cheaper because they had. He said what he liked about it. It was like a commercial, or it was like I don't know if it's like an entertainment mall. That's what I guess the best way to describe it. Excuse me. Yeah, no, they now they have. It should be called the eater competition because obviously Grant and Shelby, but now their daughter is participating, and she's really good too. That's the sad part. Next thing you know, it's going to be first, second, and third place is the Eater family. But yeah, the young lady, I don't know. I think she's like 12 or 13, maybe, and she's very good. She's very good. She's got skills. So the only one that needs to participate now is their son, and then it's a done deal. Everybody they're gonna have to make a fourth and fifth and sixth place just so that other people can win. I don't know. I'm curious because I was looking at some of the scapes and they're all pretty good. I mean, it's obviously come a long ways from in the beginning. People have been aquascaping for more years now, and I'm not just talking about like the channels that dedicate to aquascaping. I'm just talking about hobbyists in general. That they did some really decent jobs, but I don't understand how you can judge aquascaping because I look at it as trying to judge. The new management of Aquashella said I could come back to my old job. Oh, that would be cool. But I just don't know if it's in me to do it anymore. I get it. It wasn't. I know a little bit of how things played out, and yeah, I understand 100% why you would feel that way. But they definitely do need you, Ed, because it's a big difference from. It was very noticeable from when you and Carrie quit doing this, from when you guys were really involved. And I got to tell you, that stuff you were doing, we're having the live streams from the event with random people. uh, it was really cool. That was something to see because you had all these content creators um, that didn't necessarily know each other, and they were being thrown up there, and it was cool to see the different perspectives from all these guys, that were sitting on the panel. To me, that was kind of one of the coolest things that they were doing, and it almost had like a dedicated feed on YouTube for Aquashella. So that stuff that you were doing there, Ed, I tip my hat to you because that stuff was really cool, and it all went away. It was obvious when you were no longer involved. It was like night and day. It wasn't even close. But going back to the judging, the way I look at it, I know there's like rules that you're supposed to follow in aquascaping, but I know Nick did a thing where he was looking at the I don't want to call them pros, but the competition that happens, the IPACL or something like that. I forget what it's called, but it's the one that they do in Japan. And it was funny because I was looking at the videos, at the pictures that he was putting up. The ones that I personally felt like they spoke to me were not winners. And the ones that won, they all kind of looked the same. It wasn't anything. I mean, they were cool. Don't get me wrong. They all looked cool, but it wasn't anything that really stood out that I would have said, yeah, this is definitely the winner. Let's see, what is it? Oh, shit, it just started going quick. They were pros. Jorge, come on. Oh, okay, well, they're pros then. You got to watch some of Josh Sims. He's the guy that won, isn't it? He's the guy that's associated with the Green Aqua. Yeah, but I was looking at a lot of those, and it's funny because a lot of them look like forest. That seemed to be like the common denominator, and they were all very similar. Yeah, I've judged some, and then I've seen some, and some of the judges give bad scores to people because they don't plant their plants the right way, and they say the plants will die. Yeah, but you see, I don't know. I really don't understand how. I guess if they really wanted to be fair about it, they would do it. I guess like the shrimp contest where there's no names. They're just kind of. I think they should curtain off the area where people are escaping, and not allow the people to watch them do it. If you really wanted to do a competition, so that there isn't any influence as to who's doing it, because I really do think that affects the scores, whether it's in a positive or negative way, because we're human beings at the end of the day, and I think if people were to escape behind closed doors, or an area where people couldn't see, and then you would allow people to vote on them and the judges, and then it would be the total number. I feel that would be more impartial, because then it would be based on what people like, and I think that would be more I guess more fair. It'll be fair, or more, or really. Only time I won was I did a mountain sidescape. Okay, yeah, I just think that it should be people shouldn't know whose tanks those are until the end, after the winners have been announced, that they can say, okay, yeah, this tank belongs to so and so and so and so, and I think the results would be a little bit different. I really do. I think in my opinion, I feel like I've looked at some of these tanks and I go, I can already tell roughly who's going to win based on who's putting it together, and it's not necessarily because it's a bad or a good scape, but I think a lot of who it is carries a lot of weight. But the serious competitions are blind. Yeah, that's what I would say. But I do know, and then they put the names and I think a little bio of the people that are putting it together. That's what I'm saying. It in a way, it's kind of a popularity contest too, and that really does sway a lot of the vote. But that's just my 2 cents, and nobody asked for them either. Every grant are amazing, but you're right. There's a lot of people to get points because of, yeah. It's obviously, it's and that's human nature. Human nature. That's why you, if you do a blind contest, uh, then you're really grading it on on the design or the how it was put together. Popularity contest, no way. And as a matter of fact, I even think the votes should be secret. I don't think people should be saying, because then you'll influence. If you tell somebody, "Oh, I think this is number one," that, "Hey, George, how you doing? Thanks for dropping in." Yeah, it's up late. It's late on a Monday. It's a Tuesday now for a lot of you guys. Um, but I think it does carry some influence. Even people saying, "Oh, I think this is number one," and then if somebody was kind of going back and forth between whether that was number one or that was number one, if somebody else says it, or they know that, oh, they voted for that one, well, that's got to be number one. I think if it was one of those silent votes, go in the box, nobody knows, you're not allowed to say who you voted for. Um, I think the results might be a little bit different, or they might surprise people. Or else Bama will never be able to win. Well, and that's where I'm getting at. Maybe he would get a lot of no votes because people go, "Oh, it's Bama," and they don't understand that Bama is just a troll. That's the way he likes to engage with people, and I find it funny because I know I can see through what's going on, but a lot of people can't. A lot of people think that he's being very, very serious, and don't understand that I equate it to like ah, God damn, sucks to get old. Um, God, I got it in the tip of my tongue. I can't say Howard Stern. You know how Howard Stern would be like this really outrageous personality and would do this crazy. They call him the shock jock. That's I see a little bit of Bama in that. But I don't know. I can kind of pick up on that stuff. One of the problems with all the judges have to fill out the same piece of paper so they can read the other judges' comments. And I think sometimes they want to impress. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think those should be filled out independently. Each judge, and they go in the box just like the other ones. And if they want to, if they're counting the votes from the audience, then it should all be anonymous so that you don't get that influence. But again, this is not a serious competition either. He's a young aquascaper, mostly on TikTok. Oh, they're asking about Bamba. Yeah, he's a new guy. He hasn't been around. You'll see him usually on Nick's live streams, once in a while on mine. And but yeah, he mostly does stuff on TikTok, and he does put together aquascapes. People, I guess the mistake was they didn't catch the satire that Nick and Pam were doing when they were rating the aquariums of from the Clash from last year. And part of it, the stuff that Bam was using automatically, if they didn't use like brand name stuff, he was already, oh, this is not a good scape. They don't know what they're doing. But it was more satirical than anything else. Oh, I didn't know that the fish were graded or were part of the score. So you don't get to bring The fish. Oh no, yeah. As a matter of fact, when they aquascape, I don't really think the fish are. I think the fish is only to show that it's actually has water and it's a and it's a and it's a fish tank. Oh jeepers! It's 4 o'clock. I'm sorry. Oh, go to bed, Ed. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. ADA or nothing. Yeah, that's kind of his thing. But I think it's funny. At first I didn't. At first I'm not gonna lie. I thought, oh, what a jerk. I could definitely see people not getting the joke. Yeah, at first I was, but then he was really leaning into it. I go, oh, I get it. Yeah, he's just being the extremist, like the soup Nazi from Seinfeld. So yeah, and but he doesn't break character. Even when I engage with him, he doesn't break character. He's kind of who he is, supposedly. All right. Thanks, Anthony. You have a good night. What are we down to 4? They score fish as part of how good the photo basically is. Yeah, that's on the what is it? IP ACL. I don't. It's a bunch of acronyms. I mean, yeah, I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's a picture contest at the end of the day, because if you don't get the lighting right, I was watching a video where to be able to get that ripple effect at the top, they were using a blow dryer, because they don't run their filters or any of that stuff. It's all stage. He's committed to the act for sure. Yeah, he's definitely all in on that one. So we have George and Nick that's still here with us. We're the other two that are still watching. I saw Linda a little while ago drop a comment. I don't know if she's still kind of listening, and we've already put her to sleep. But yeah, that's I never finished telling you what was going on. Hey, Sutton, how you doing, man? And so they reached out from the Children's Museum, and they want to set up this black light room, and they want to set up an aquarium for it. And obviously the obvious choice is going to be glowfish, and obviously we're not going to put any real plants in there. The problem is I'm trying to find, because she was talking about getting them through PetSmart, but she's going to pay an arm and a leg. She's going to pay an arm and a leg for those fish. So I'm trying to see if I can get connected with a wholesaler that is willing to work with them on the pricing of the fish. Maybe get them at wholesale price. They're not asking for free, but if they get them for free, what a better deal. So I told her to reach out. I got her the information for the low light website or whatever, and I even dropped a message there. I don't know who it'll go to, but see if it's okay. Linda, thanks you're still hanging in there. So yeah, but I thought there was a lot more variation when it comes to the glowfish, but they still only have skirt tetras, which she said she doesn't want to get skirt tetras, which I get, because the main tank that's there now has a bunch of long fin skirt tetras, black skirt tetras. She wanted to do something different, so they have the Priscilla tetras. What do you think about people selling fish, but they don't want you to sell it cheaper than they do? You know what, George? It's the United States, and you're allowed to do whatever the hell you want to do. I mean, it's if you can get them at a better price and sell them for a better price, I don't see a problem with it. I know depends how much cheaper too, though. I mean, you got to be careful, because you don't want to drive the market where it's no longer profitable. If you have a a decent pricing on fish, maybe a few cents cheaper than what they sell it, but I wouldn't go like $2 or $3 cheaper, because you're only going to kill the market. If there's a That's a way to protect the pricing on stuff. That's the only reason why I would think that they're saying that, is because if you can keep a good price on a product, why not? I mean, there's still room for everybody to make money if you just, modified it within reason. I would say within, I don't know what, 5%, maybe 10% of what it costs of the going cost in the market. But I definitely wouldn't go much cheaper than that, because then, yeah, you might get those sales, but then you're gonna drop the price from the bottom of whatever is out there. I mean, let's say you have let's African cichlids. You're selling African cichlids and you're getting, say, $20 per fish. You don't want to come in there and cut it in half and say, hey, I got them for 10. You got them for 19.50. Yeah, you got them a little bit cheaper than the other person, but you're still not. I don't think at that point you're really hurting the price, because then as a consumer, you decide, well, if George has them at 19.50, but Dave has got them at 20, but Dave has healthier, or I like the way he does his maintenance and all that stuff, they might go with Dave, or it's just, yeah, the problem is keeping in stock. Selling cheaper than other people is fine. Yeah, but like I said, you don't want to destroy your market either. If everybody's making money and you're within 5-10% of somebody else, it allows everybody to come out ahead. Yeah, but it all depends on how much more. I mean, I'm going to tell you, if, again, same scenario, if my neighbor's selling them for 20, I have no problem selling them for 19.50. And if he gets pissed off, then go pound sand. That's all I got to say. I can afford to do it at that price. I wouldn't hurt myself and say I'm going to sell them for 10, because yeah, I'd have everybody come up and buy them, but then nobody's going to want to pay more for them. And the next person that comes along, because there's always going to be somebody else that's going to come in and say, well, if he's selling it for 10 and if I sell them for 5, then I'll take all his customers. So, and then before you know it, there's no price on them. So that's my only take on that. Because you still want to be able to sell, make some money. You got to go to Dancefish. Well, Dancefish has kind of outpriced himself from everybody else. Nobody's really, well, I wouldn't say nobody. There's people that buy from him, but I wouldn't pay those prices for the fish, that some of the fish that he has. Yeah, I don't know. Reverse psychology. Sell them for 4 times more. That's how you justify it. Where's my dog? Oh, he's already in bed. Good. Yeah, but that would be my take on that. Man, this cigar really got good now. It's blowing all kinds of smoke. First time I've had this. This was on the bargain shelf, and I was kind of doubting the quality of this cigar, but I think it's only in the bargain bin because people didn't know about it, and it's an older cigar. It's a release that's at least 15 years old, and people don't know about it, but it's actually a very good cigar. I'm gonna have to go buy and pick up some more of these, especially at the price that they're at, $10 for each. That's like really cheap for a good quality cigar. So reverse psychology, yeah, I don't, it's a free market too, though. I mean, at the end of the day, you could do whatever you want to do, George. Like I said, you live in America. You're entitled to do whatever you want to do. That was just my. You asked me for my opinion, and that's the way I look at it. I mean, I look at it at a point where we're all going to be able to make money. I'll still be able to make a little bit of money. It's not a problem. That's on them. Wow, this last third of the cigar really picked up. I am super impressed. Wow. Let's see. Oh, so that's what they wanted to do, and it's pretty cool because the other thing I need to do is whatever stand I build, or we upscale from there, because they do have some old desks and stuff like that. I'm gonna have to put it on wheels because it's a long, narrow hallway, but it's an access point to a part of the museum that is closed off to the public, but they use it as storage. So I want them to be able to, if they need to get back into where they're going, to be able to roll it, to be able to gain access to that area. I heard it here. Herkit wants to destroy his competitors with no mercy. Yeah, that is right. Well, guys, I know he bought 6,000 in fish, and the seller cut him off no more because he's so cheap and people complain. Well, okay. Are you talking about sellers in that area? Or the customers complained because they were too cheap? I'm assuming it's the other vendors in the area. But LA is such a big area. Or was it the fish stores that were complaining? Because I could see them complaining about that. And that's where it gets a little bit interesting, because we actually had a live stream where we were talking about that. And I get it from LFS, their gripes, because they're having to carry a lot more costs. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that resell that don't have the licenses to resell. They've figured out a way to go buy from places that technically they shouldn't be selling to the public. Yes, the other vendors. So that I can see where if I had all my documentation in order, I paid all the, doing the state taxes and doing everything that's required to be able to run a business. Yeah, I think I would have a problem with somebody else who's not doing the same thing. And then on top of that is undercutting my prices. I think I would be a little bit upset, because there's no way I can be able to compete as a brick and mortar. It was at Fabish for Fish, and I was there. Oh, okay. Oh, at the Medaka Festival. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the situation was, but was he like ridiculously cheaper than everybody else? Because I could see if everybody else is selling the same, like at the Medaka Rice Fish. I think some of the going price for the fishes that they had there were like anywhere between, I think it was like 15 and 20 bucks or something like that. And if somebody's selling them for like $5, yeah, I can see how everybody else was pissed. But if it's only like 50 cents cheaper, $1 cheaper, even $1 cheaper, they can go suck it. But all right, let's see. Anything else we can talk about? Because I'm kind of running out of. Oh, well, yeah, I already talked about Nick doing the the review. Yeah, that and was it Impossible Aquariums? I'm not gonna lie. I when I looked at that website initially, my gut reaction was like, "Oh, this is cool." Finally, I have some information I can look into to collaborate with kind of what I've been doing to a degree. Not really just $5 cheaper. That's a big, yeah, that's a substantial price drop. If everybody else selling 15 to 20, so he was selling them at 10, that's like half off. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to, but you know, obviously his supplier, you know, I don't blame the supplier, because here's the thing. Let's say you got a group of 10 people that are buying from you, and a new guy comes along. So now you got 11 customers, but this new guy is going to cause 10 other guys to quit buying from you. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm not going to sell to the new guy that's undercutting everybody, because I'd rather have the income of 10 other people than that one guy. And that one guy, if he's selling them cheaper, eventually what's going to end up happening, he's going to want to get them even cheaper from me. So yeah, I would cut him off as a supplier. I'd tell him to go kick rocks, because then he's going to mess with my money, and that's where I'm going to have a problem with it. So if I can see how they cut him off, if they addressed it to him, oh, AI Fishkeeper, let's talk about that. What did you find on AI? Was he the same guy that because when he came into your chat and was very, very defensive, I immediately thought it was the owner of that website. And then the name of the channel or the handle in the chat kind of gave it away. I was kind of like, really, dude? That's like no imagination here, buddy. It's not going to be hard to put 1 and 2 together. But what did you? I know you went and looked them up. So what's the scoop, Nick? Do you want to come up here and tell us what the scoop was? I'll drop the link if you want. Must have been. Oh, okay. So you didn't go. Yeah, just the 2 responses that he gave you. Very, very defensive. Almost personal. You know, it almost seemed like personal the way he was responding. That's why I sent you the message. Is like, dude, I think the timing yeah, because you were really cutting into his website. Okay, here, I'm gonna put it here in the chat so that let's see, invite, copy link. That goes for anybody that wants to come up here and chit chat. We can do that. Let me know if this works. I got to be careful though. Last time although there's not that many people in here. Last time I did this, I had a guy doing the helicopter when he came on screen. Served me right for letting anybody come up. I couldn't tell who it was either though when they were backstage. So that was my fault. But that was funny though. Funny or not, I actually had to delete that live stream. That's one of the live streams that doesn't come up, because I didn't want to get in trouble for having to do the helicopter. Let's see. It bleeped. Who is it? In my tanks. Is it really in my tanks? Yeah, it is. He's sitting in the dark. Hey, what's up, Nick?
Oh, is my camera working? Because it was saying it wasn't. But,
I could see.
Oh, it is. Oh, here we are.
Yeah, it's just dark.
Yeah. I mean, it's 4 a.m., but what do you expect?
Yeah. I'm going to take the chat off of there so they can kind of see you. There you go. All we see is teeth and eyeballs.
Bro, look, the thing is, a lot of people hate watch me at this point. And it's kind of funny because now it's kind of like within the last few months. Now, if I'm like kind of talking trash about someone, it's almost guaranteed that there's someone in my chat that's gonna go run and tell them, "Oh, and my tanks is talking about you," and it's like so funny. Like with the beta thing, you saw all the people that were in there before it even started. You know,
Oh, yeah.
and I did it on purposely. Like I scheduled it kind of short term, and then I told my friend
Oh, the ones that, the betas.
yeah, I told my friend, he was like, "You want me to post a live stream link to all these places?" I was like, "No, because I want to see how fast these people come." Because I was just curious, like, and what I'm learning is, I don't know how, but everyone I talk about knows I'm talking about them within like 15 minutes. Like, so the AI fish keeper definitely, I think that was probably the guy, because he said, if you don't want to pay the $6 for the research, then don't do it. I'm like, come on, man, come on.
You know, I guess it would be okay if it was legitimate research that he had written, but if you're gonna have AI just kind of do the research for you and type it up, then if it was my findings, and I don't know, I guess I don't have a problem if I wrote the stuff and I run it through AI to make it sound better. That's a little bit different. But it's my research, not versus, all right, AI, go look and find me an answer for this question, and that's going to publish as my research. You know, that's
and here's the thing. I think he did some experiments, but the problem is like actual experiments require a lot of thinking to make them legitimate. Like you got to know all your variables. Like, okay, it's my dependent, my independent variables. You got to replicate it. You got to do it multiple times. You can't just do it once. You have to see if it's the same. So a lot of people like, okay, you can do an experiment and it can be cool or whatever. But if you're going to go to the level of saying you have a peer-reviewed research paper, then I expect to see that you actually went through the effort that actual papers that are published go through to make sure you can prove scientifically that, you know, there's something here. Because I think a lot of things in the fish keeping hobby, there's stuff we know anecdotally that I think is relatively like solid, but it would take a lot of work to prove that scientifically. So I think it's kind of this weird thing people get caught up in, where like to prove something scientifically, like you don't necessarily need to kind of know it's true if you've been doing something long enough. But like if you're going to say you're proving it scientifically, then you have to do all the steps necessary to be like, look, I can demonstrate it for sure. This is exactly why this method works. You know, I've removed all other variables.
Yeah, that's why I always tell them when I do something like that, is like, in my experience or in my opinion, it's never this is scientific proof. No, this is my observations based off of my experience and years of doing the same way. This is what I've observed. I could be totally talking out the side of my head, or there might be something to it, but I'm not going to tell you it's scientifically proven.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's no way in hell that I have the patience to run an experiment that would withstand the muster. So, like, I understand, but I'm also not trying to sell my research for any amount of money. So, I think the thing is like, because I listen back to my streams, especially when I'm going in on someone. I tend to listen back to those streams the most because I want to see if I like, you know, did I misstep here or something. Yeah. And the main thing is, I got my commentary. I'm being entertaining. I'm just kind of being myself. But really, if you just read, I'm just reading what the person actually wrote, and without adding any commentary, like people in the chat are like, "Wait, what did he just say?" Like, and I think that's kind of like the heart. Like when you're trying to evaluate if some of these people actually have any bit of like merit to them, if you just kind of read out loud what they're saying, most people. I don't think people are stupid. I think most people actually do have brains, and when they hear certain stuff, they can recognize, like, oh, this is just like a random acronym someone made up, like bio, symbiotic, litho, ecosphere. Like, oh, like someone's trying to sell me right now, like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. It's just, is this a new phenomena that people are using the hobby to try to sell you snake oil?
It's definitely not a new phenomenon. It's definitely not new, but I mean, I think it's more accessible now. I think it's easier for someone to just make a website, and the blueprint is there. I mean, the nature of AI is it's stealing and gathering all the thoughts of other people that have already done it. So the work's already been done. So you just need to tell it, hey, make a website
You
off
know
of this stuff.
what's really interesting about this whole AI thing, though, is that because it is scouring the internet, it's even pulling up stuff that's not even true. You know, false information and giving it to you as correct information.
Yeah,
You
and
would, I would have thought
that's the problem.
I would have thought by now the AI would have been a little bit more discerning to that kind of stuff, but no.
No, and it also it wants to please you. So if you're trying to make a point, like that's why I point out the papers that he used some random papers in one of his little articles. It was like from 18 to 86 and stuff. And it's probably he typed in, "Yo, find me a paper that backs up what I am trying to say here, that fits what I'm trying to say here." It's going to try and give you what you want, but honestly, I listened to the podcast with Primetime and KG Tropicals earlier. I do listen to that podcast when there's a topic I see that interests me. And in this one, they're talking about the biomedia scam. I think that's a great example of how snake oils, it's definitely not a new thing.
Using ceramic rings and stuff like that.
Just basically that, like, the obsession with needing all this surface area is kind of silly because the amount of beneficial bacteria your tank is going to have is going to scale to the amount of fish that you have.
Yeah, bioload.
So, exactly. But
bioload and beneficial bacteria go hand in hand.
Yep.
You can't.
But you'll see people all the time that will be like, "Oh, this tank doesn't have enough surface area.
I
The
love it when
sponge
they say,
filter's too small."
I love it when they say I'm over-filtrating my tank. I mean, you might be over-filtrating for particulate matter, but not for anything else.
Exactly. So I don't think that it's new, but I think now, like, more people that would never have the patience or the ability to make this stuff before. That's why I'm starting to become a Father Fish fan, because you know what? I feel like he puts more work into it than a lot of these people. Like, they're showing up with the worst website. None of the buttons work. The links are all dead.
Give me a second.
You know?
Hold on.
Oh, you got it. All right. Well, Jorge's gone now, so listen. I'm here to tell you guys about the new substrate. It's called Jorge Plus. Okay? Look at the tank in the background. It's beautiful. See the lush carpet on the bottom there? Now, this is a secret he doesn't want you to know. Jorge's sitting on a gold mine. Okay? A desert substrate that he goes out and mines constantly. And we need to get to the bottom of it. So the only way that we can get our hands on the substrate, you just gotta give Jorge some subs or something like that. It's the only way. Look. Okay, he's coming back.
All right. Yeah. No. It's. Yeah. It's interesting, and it's. I was laughing when you were saying that this guy should pay royalties to Father Fish because they're kind of going off of stuff that he's been talking around for a while.
Yeah.
And,
to me, I don't even respect Wallstead like that anymore. I think it's all just Father Fish at this point. Like,
dude, I heard somewhere, I don't know if it's true, that she's kind of come back and changed her opinion on her own method, saying that it's not the most ideal or suitable method.
Her method, I don't know. I think because she put in the effort to try and do some, again, quote unquote, science to back up her method.
Let me ask you this: what's her doctorate in?
My doctorate?
No, her.
Oh, her doctor. Oh, I have no idea. Her doctorate's in making one of the worst methods to keep you fish of all time, I guess. I mean, like, with the Wallstead method, why I give it more to Father Fish, this is like her personal project. She did all these research. This is like how she likes to keep things or whatever. And she wrote a book, but like, honestly, it's kind of on everyone else that made it popular. Like, I don't know why they did this, but she's not out here with the YouTube channel, like, really pushing it that much. Like, other people got. The thing with Father Fish is he takes ownership of the method. That's what I like more. I'm like, he actually made it where he's the spokesman and he's made it something people can be excited about. and he's out there defending it. I like that. You know what I mean? Wallstead's like a hermit. You know, she kind of made this method, and then no one even actually reads how to do her
But
actual method.
did she actually do science experiments, or is it like,
Yeah,
I can
she-
say
I
that
mean,
I can call this the Mexicali method. And
I think you should listen, man. Listen, you could sell that desert sand as a premium substrate. Like, go for it. I think she did actually do some experiments and documented a bunch about her method and stuff.
or was it
My
just
thing is-
doing random water tests and recording those results and saying, okay, the nitrates are down, so therefore, my method works.
Well, I believe I don't know. I could be wrong, but I believe she's kind of more plant focused anyway.
Mhm.
Like, I think she's kind of, and for me, I'm about the fish. So like that's why I said in my thing, I'm like, when I look at all these methods, to me the fish are always lacking. That's like the main thing why they would never really work for me. But yeah, I
Shit,
think
not
she's more
mine.
about the plants.
Not in mine. My method, you
Well,
can have
I-
overpopulation.
I buy the method. That's why. Listen, bro, you just gotta start selling the desert sand at this point. You know what I mean?
It's gotta be from the wash that I go get it. That's
Yeah.
the only. It's not all desert sand. It's that wash. It's
Okay.
It's the Mexicali wash.
But your tanks look much better than any Fatherfish, Wallstead, Impossible Aquarium tank. Like that bottom right tank right there looks fantastic. So I feel like you'd have some credibility if you went that route. Honestly,
There isn't anything to it. That's the whole thing. That's why, I did the whole video showing people exactly what it is that I do. But it's just basically trial and error from all these other methods that exist out there, and it's what works for me. And here's the thing, though. My parameters could be totally different from somebody else, and if they try it where they're at, it might work or it might not work. It's hard to say. That's why to do like a one size fits all method. It's not.
Well, people hate that. Like, people don't like complexity. They don't like nuance. So I think that's one of the things that drive like the constant like back and forth in this hobby on all topics. Is just like, the reality is it's not gonna, the same one thing is just not gonna work for everyone. And that's annoying. It's annoying because you want to just be able to follow the instructions and get a predictable result, but there's so many factors.
Yeah, that's why I always tell people it's trial and error. All this has been trial and error over the course of, what is it now? Like, I don't know, 6-8 years. I don't know how long I've been doing this now. But it's all been trial and error. I started with actually, it wasn't even Wallstead. Who I saw was Dustin Fish Tanks, where he went out to his backyard, scooped up a bunch of dirt from his backyard, put it in a tank, put water in there, and let it settle down. And he didn't even cap it. I think the very first video that I saw, and then he tried to capping it with sand. And then after that, after watching his video, I started hearing about the Wallstead method, or he mentioned the Wallstead method. And right around the time that I was hearing about the Wallstead method, Father Fish popped up in the scene for me.
Right.
And I started listening to what he was doing, and he was obviously dogging on Dr. Wallstead and saying that it was lacking this, that, and that, and it sounded good. I mean, I don't know any better.
The main thing is lacking is personality. That's what I gotta give to. Like, none of these people that are trying to copy him have any kind of amount of unique personality. He's got the grandfather thing going on, and all these people can offer is a faceless channel with some AI script. Like, come on, bro. You gotta put some heart and soul into it. Is Father Fish alive? I think so.
I don't think I've seen him. All the recent videos that I've seen are old footage of him with AI over the top. Because the voice is not synced into what he's saying. It's like old videos of him.
I mean, I know that he was in poor health recently. I did hear that, but I don't know if he's dead. But he's got that whole team around him. I wouldn't be surprised if they're just like preempting for the possibility of his passing. They're like, let's figure out how to keep this going with AI. You know
How
what I
many
mean?
siblings does Father Fish have?
I don't know.
his sister is working with him in the shop, or was I don't know. Isn't it his sister that's in the shop now?
I don't know, honestly. I don't know.
Because I was watching. I didn't come in from the beginning. Just one of those things where I saw Father Fish was going live, and I kind of opened it, and I came in mid conversation where the lady said, "Yeah, when my brother invited me to come down here and help him out, and then after the passing of my brother," but I don't know if she meant another sibling or Father Fish, and that's where after that live stream, it kind of planted a seed in my head, and I'm going, wait, I didn't hear, but I don't follow Father Fish enough to know.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. That'd be, I mean, I hope that's not true, but
because I think more people would have,
yeah,
whether they like him or not, you would have seen more videos about his passing.
I mean, if Father Fish passed, I would be sad. I feel like I'd rather have him than what I'm seeing right now. I'll be honest. Like, I'm not like a big fan.
Part with Father Fish was, and me and Funk have talked about this a lot. Is at first everybody was singing his praise, and then at one point, people flipped on him. Everybody that was praising his, praising him and saying how great it was, and this and this and that, made their channels based on the Father Fish method.
Spineless. I still can't. The Patty's Aquarium video, I still can't believe. That's just flabbergasted me. The Patty's Aquarium video on it because I went through and looked. I'm like, wait, this guy, he was doing the Journey to Aquariums already. So like, this is not new information to you. The only thing that changed is Father Fish is no longer popular.
But it was all at the same time. Everybody started shitting on him at the same time.
Yes.
And all of a sudden he was, and it was easy pickings. People were coming out for him from everywhere after him, and it's like, wow,
But then they'll give time to these reskinned Father Fish things. Like it's like they'll go off, they'll hit on Father Fish, but then they're gonna find the next AI slop channel that is basically a light version of what he's talking about.
I'm curious when he's gonna become popular again, because it all goes up. It's got like this wave cycle that it goes through. I see that. I've been seeing that now that I've been doing this, or that I'm even more on the other side, being a content creator, and I get that impression that the topics will become popular and then they'll die down, and then all back will come back up again. And
people saying, "Hey, look, I didn't change water in this tank for 3 million years." Like that right now is like the blueprint to easy views at the moment. Like that's really what's driving a lot of this and the Impossible Aquariums thing.
Okay, that's what his.
Like his Instagram, he's got pretty good numbers on his Instagram, and a lot of it is just like, the aquarium industry is lying to you. You don't need these chemicals, and that's like
agree with that. I can kind of agree with that because I don't use any chemicals in my tanks, really. As a matter of fact, I got a pond outside.
I don't either, so I can't disagree.
I got a pond outside, but I keep telling people the only thing that's in my water is chlorine. I don't have chloramite, but the quantity levels, and this is where it completely changed my opinion on tap water, is when I watched Prime Time's video on cleaning your sponge filters in tap water. After seeing that, and I had heard people doing water changes and not ever adding any dechlorinator to their water and being fine, and from people that I kind of tend to believe what they say. It was, not just your random Joe kind of saying that.
Yeah.
I even think Father Fish was one of the ones that would say that. He was, "Oh, you don't need to add dechlorinator in your water." I think that was one of the first places that I heard it. And I was like, "Oh, okay, well, we'll see." But at the same time, I was trying to remember back when I was keeping aquariums in my teen years. I don't think I ever put dechlorinator in the water changes that I was doing. It was just straight out of the tap and putting water in the tank. I didn't know any better at that time.
Yeah.
And some fish died. The convicts survived.
It's one of those. It's like one of those things that like I'm probably about to do like get the carbon block thing just so I don't have to use the chlorinator anymore. Or whatever is probably what I'm gonna do. But it's one of those things where like I think you probably could get away with it if you're not doing huge water changes. Like it's probably gonna be fine. But it's one of those like I don't know.
If you go to Walmart, go to the auto section and go look where they have the stuff for RV trailers. And more than likely, they're going to have these inline carbon block filters for the water hose. That's what I used for years in here. And
okay.
they're like, you can get like 2 of them for like $32 or something like that. And those were meant for like regular use. And they had like I think they guarantee them for like 6 months or X amount of gallons of water, because they got to put something on there. I had the smaller version of the one that I have here. And it was a whole year went by without me changing it, and the only reason I changed it is because it had been a year.
Nice.
And that's what I had all my tanks, and I never had.
I gotta check that out because I think that's the good route to go. I mean, honestly, you probably save on the chlorinator. That's just another one of those things where like it varies so much, and then you got some people that say like they randomly flush the system with chlorine, so then you don't want to. If you get in the habit of that, then one day you change the water and the day they do that, and then now it is a problem.
Those days, look, do you really?
Hey, you manage a lot of water, so you know better than me.
I'm gonna tell you this: I seldom put the hose in my tanks without seeing what the water's like. And what I mean is, I know here they periodically do it. I don't know when they do it because sometimes I'll be taking a shower and I go, "This shit smells like my pool." It just you could smell the chlorine. If I always have like a slop sink in here, I always turn on the hose because I want to purge the water that's been sitting in the hose to begin with. But at the same time, if I have that distinct smell of chlorine, I'm not gonna stick it in the tank. I'm gonna wait. Or I'll add some type of dechlorinator or something at that point. I think I still have some dechlorinator in here. I just never have used it. And but you can tell right away. I mean, the amount of chlorine that's in our tap water is minuscule. Because you're supposed to be able to drink water from the tap without it causing any adverse effects to your health. That's at least most municipalities, that's kind of the standard. And what's his name? Primetime. What he was saying is you would have to leave whatever it is in contact for hours, more than a day, if you left your sponge filter sitting in that water, for it to kill any significant amount of beneficial bacteria. Now, if it's chlorine, it's gonna dissipate before it kills whatever's in that sponge filter. If you're running it through the hose and it's splashing, that splashing of the water helps evaporate or whatever, gasify that chlorine. So
I feel bad because no, go ahead.
I was gonna say most people that talk about fish dying massively out of the when they did a water change, it always seems like it's anecdotal information. It's never happened necessarily to them, but they know somebody that it happened to. That always seems to be the story that I hear. I haven't heard somebody said, "Yeah, I did it and it killed all my fish." And at that point, I'm thinking, "Oh, maybe it was something else. Was it the temperatures? Were the temperatures the same?" Or?
Yeah, I mean, I think as far as YouTube wise, I think Keeping Fish Simple did a video about doing a water change with no dechlorinator or something recently and killing stuff. But I was gonna say I feel bad because I feel like Primetime has some of the most underrated like videos and stuff like this, like on biological filtration and stuff. Like I kind of feel like if more people watch that, a lot of dumb conversations would kind of be neutralized because there is a misunderstanding about some of this stuff. Like just the fact that there are people that still wouldn't rinse their sponge filters with their tap water, and it's like, well, this has been something that's been discussed already. Like you can do it, and like that information hasn't traveled universally yet. It's kind of crazy, you know. Um,
Well, but then again, some people have like selective hearing. Some people want to believe, if they find some sort of information that kind of aligns with their beliefs, they're all sold. That's like, oh no.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I
So
try my best to look if something I believe ends up to be wrong, that I'm just gonna have to accept that's the case. You know what I mean? Like I would hate to find myself in a situation where I'm like making up stuff. Like the other day in my stream, I could just tell Mick hates glowfish. He hates glowfish, and he was just trying to come up with any reason as why they were like worse than other fish. He was like, imagine if they get released into the waterways. I'm like, well,
that's what's gonna happen. You know what's gonna happen?
a
They
brightly
become
colored
gray.
fish, yeah, a brightly colored fish probably ain't gonna
Whited
do too well,
lures
Mick.
are very colorful, and 'cause
Yes,
they
he's like maybe the mosquitoes would be orange. He's just like saying all sorts of stuff I don't even understand. It's 'cause he hates glowfish. I'm like, I
what
don't want to
about
ever
the
have to do
mosquitoes?
that. It was something like they'll be attracted to the. I honestly
Oh,
don't know. It was something
how's that
about
a bad thing?
mosquitoes. I can't tell you, bro. I was confused. I was like, Mick, I've never seen you like this. He hates glowfish, man. He hates them. You know.
Yeah, I guess
Sometimes
so.
I'm trying to think of like what would be my thing that I could be that way. Like I don't know if I've encountered it yet. Like, but I would hate to be that person that like I'm just trying to come up with anything I possibly can. It's like, oh, I was reading the paper about like how fish in smaller enclosures grow smaller, and suddenly everyone in
Mhm.
the chat is active. They're like trying to come up with all the ways that this paper missed something. I'm just like, you guys clearly wanted an excuse to keep growing out fish in smaller containers. But anyone that breeds a
Well,
lot of fish will tell you they grow faster with larger water volume. I mean,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's
Well,
fine. You
I
can.
stunted a clutch of angelfish.
Mm,
I stunted them because I kept them too long in a 10-gallon tank.
there you go.
I
It's
kept
like you
putting
can
it
do all.
off, putting it
Yeah.
off, and
You
by
still
the
doing your
time I
water
moved them,
changes and all that?
yeah, yeah, I was doing
And that,
just
yeah,
that, just the water changes, but I should have moved them way, way before I,
yeah,
before you think that you need to move them. And they got stunted. They didn't grow very big. They were, I think, the biggest
yep,
ones, and because I kept a few, trying to get them to see if they would grow out because they were kind of like I kept selling the bigger ones and kept hanging on to those because they weren't growing. But I don't know if they got the size of, I don't know what, like maybe 2 inches the body size. That's about as big
hmm
as they got.
wow,
And then I was thinking, well, maybe I
yeah,
can sell dwarf angelfish.
that's funny. I mean, and some people are like wondering if you could stunt fish on purpose to make
Oh
them
yeah, you can
smaller,
definitely
which,
stun
you
fish
know,
on purpose. That's how they start creating all these balloon fish. It's
yeah,
because they're
and
kind of stunted.
that's where it kind of gets like, oh man, I don't know, but it was just funny because like anytime you could tell it's like, oh, you guys are all growing out stuff smaller. I grow out stuff in smaller tanks too, and I do my water changes, but like I've had fry that I keep in like the smaller tank I'm growing out in, but then I put some in a bigger tank, and those fry will grow like 5 times faster than the other fry growing at the same time. And I'm doing my water changes and stuff, but it's just a sad reality. It's like you give them more space, they grow more.
I'll
It's
tell you
like,
what
you know,
I did notice, and I think part of the stunting of those fish was the quality of food. Because for the first two
yeah,
groups that I intentionally grew out, I was feeding vinegar eels to try to at very first because that was the only thing that I could find that was small enough that they could eat. And then I was giving them microworms and then grindle worms.
yeah,
Um, and then I moved them out to a bigger tank as soon as they were about the size of a pea. No, it's probably smaller than a pea. I moved them out of that 10-gallon tank and put them in a bigger. I think it was like I had a 55-gallon that I only filled up halfway,
okay,
and that's what they were growing out in. And as they were getting bigger, I would add more water.
that's
Um,
nice.
and then, but the one that I stunted because it requires work to be feeding live foods. You got to
Yeah.
harvest it. And I was feeding more regularly. So my lazy method was, okay, I'm not going to do that because I don't have time to be messing around with the live foods. I'm just going to feed them ground down, powder food,
Yeah.
and I'll call it good. And it made a big difference. I think it was a combination of several things. It was a combination of keeping them too long in a small tank, and the quality of food that they were receiving that really,
Yeah.
I think, added to the problem of them not growing out.
The food is
And
huge.
it significantly stunted them. I mean, it was very, very, very noticeable how much smaller they were than everything else that I had. And that's the only group where I started noticing a lot more issues with fins, deformities. The two the bottom fins that's I forget what those are called. I was seeing a little bit more bends on those, or not as
Yeah,
straight
yeah.
down. So I was like, oh,
That's crazy.
So that group I didn't sell very much. That's the group that I kind of. And you go some of my videos, if you go look at them, they look like tiny little juveniles. And
But they're old.
it's those fish. Yeah, they're a lot older than than some of the stuff that I was selling on a regular basis. And I just ended up picking the better stuff from out of that, and sold those. And the other ones, they just kind of lived until they lived, and that was it.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, man. I think it's hard sometimes to reconcile with the fact that in this hobby, the decisions you make have an impact on the health outcomes of living things, and like sometimes you learn how to, oh, okay, this stunts that, but I find some people, like, they really try to avoid that responsibility, and like if they hear
Accepting.
something,
They
yeah,
avoid accepting the
yeah, if they hear
responsibility
something
that-
that's like, hey, if you do this, it's limiting, they really don't want to hear it. I understand because it upsets me too, but I kind of just accept, like, yeah, I kind of fucked this fish
well,
up.
there's nothing
Like,
wrong with accepting the fact that you screwed up. I mean,
yeah,
if you're doing stuff you're not supposed to be doing, it. I mean, it is
it's
what
kind
it
of
is.
morbid too, but like on some level, it's like, well, without me, this fish wouldn't even exist anyway. So like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're breeding fish, you're like, man, I stunted all these, but it's kind of like, well, without me, these fish wouldn't even be here. So like, at least they're alive. Like, I don't know, it's kind of like morbid, but I think that's a factor that kind of helps deal with it. It's like, well, hey, if someone else bought these fish, then I just kill them all. I'm reproducing them. I'm making more of them, and maybe I messed up a few, but like I'm learning. I'm getting through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Net positive.
Yeah, that's the other reason why I kind of quit breeding too, because I just didn't have the time. I didn't have the time. That's why I'm kind of, like I said, toying with the idea of potentially maybe selling stuff, but I think I'm going to focus more on selling plants. You
Yeah,
can't screw
that's
plants up too much, and they move.
smart.
I've gotten to the point. I'll still bring in like groups of 10 of a certain species, because I can move 10. I think I'm pretty confident I can move them pretty quick, because most
Yeah,
people will buy a group of 5 minimum,
yeah.
So I just
Plant,
need 2 customers.
plants is smart. I wish I put more effort into knowing what plants I put into which tanks, and then I could have a better time selling them. Because, like you said, you can't really mess them up, and a plant's a plant. It's stunting it, whatnot. Like, people aren't gonna
And,
matter.
and the reality is, most people are looking for beginner plants anyways. So I wouldn't
Exactly.
even focus like selling Buse and all that. I wouldn't even carry that shit, because most people, one, are not going to want to pay what it costs, and two, they don't know about them unless you're really,
Yeah.
really into aquascaping. And at that point, you're not going to be buying them from me. You want the brand name. You want the tropical Buse. Or you
Yeah,
want,
I need the ADA tissue culture.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. So I would bring in the basic stuff. I would bring in more Val. Val sells, because it's one of those plants that's very forgiving, and you could just have nothing but Val in a tank and it'll look nice.
Yeah.
You can create a very easy Aquascape with just Val.
And you got a fantastic salesman tank in the background with that carpet there. Like, yeah, that's the photo
Yeah, well,
that's gonna
that's
sell
that's
anyone.
just Dwarf's Edge that's in there. But
It
um,
looks nice. You know.
yeah, everybody asks me, "You got a? How did you get a lawn? Because it looks like actual like a lawn on the outside." It's just Dwarf's Edge that just they liked it.
That shit grows nice. I'm always conflicted because it'll grow nice in carpet, and then I'm like, oh, I want to change it up. But then once I change it up, man, it was kind of nice when it was like a grass carpet there. You know
I,
what
I
mean?
actually
Like,
mow it like a lawn. I'll take my scissors and go as low as I can and trim
oh,
it.
okay,
And as a
wow.
matter of fact, look, you can see it right here. Well, it's starting to grow back out, but it was there's the ones that are long are the
Oh
ones
yeah,
that I
yeah,
missed.
you mowed that down. Yeah, you mowed that down.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mowed it down. And I do the same thing with this one. This
I
one I
like
gotta.
this horror era.
As a matter of fact, I saw somebody and I was like, oh, I got to do that. They had one of those waterproof shavers, and they were mowing. They were literally mowing their hair
No,
dry,
no,
and it was an aquascape
I
at
can't.
that too. So that's
Oh,
what they
that's
were using.
crazy.
So they were using, one of
I don't
these
want to think
water.
about that anymore. If I think about it too long, I'll start to actually think it's a good idea. I don't want to be that person. Oh my god.
That video's out there. I'm sure if you look for it, it's out there, and it worked.
It makes so much
he was able to
sense.
mow. That's where I got the idea of taking this. He was doing it with the little clippers, but I used the
That'd be so
scissors.
much easier than scissors. You could just
Yeah.
any plant.
Yeah,
Oh
and that's
man.
what he was doing. He was giving his hair grabs a fade.
Oh man. I don't want to. I gotta forget that I heard this. What Jessica would say to me if she came in and saw me using some shavers on the plants under, I could just, she's one of those. She's one of those people that she's just got the faces. The face that she makes at me is just gonna
Oh
be
yeah,
so
my wife.
piercing.
She doesn't have to say a word, and I already know. Because
Exactly. Yes.
she's
Exactly. Yep.
has that expressive face. I know when she's
Yep.
happy. I know when she's pissed. I know when she's questioning something. She
Yep.
just can't help it, and it's involuntarily. It's just she gives you that
You
look.
know exactly
Like,
what I'm talking about. I can just
Yeah.
imagine the look I'm doing that. And she walks in. It's gonna be like, how do I explain this? That's so funny. That's so funny. Oh
But
my
yeah, I
God.
saw that and I was like, oh, I didn't realize you could trim your the what do you call it
Yeah, I'm gonna
carpet.
have to do that. I'm gonna have to do that one day.
You
You
got
know
the
what you
video
should
about it.
do? Yeah, I was gonna say that would be a good video for you to do. You also could do one of those. I seen that guy. He made like a couple of these like 10 items at Home Depot that like save you money on fish stuff or
I
something.
already did that video, but I did it from Walmart.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
You
I was thinking
commented
like,
on that video.
of course,
That's
man,
the one
of
that has
course.
this rack. That's the one that has this rack as a thumbnail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I come on, I keep up with what you're up to. Of course I commented, but you gotta do the Lowe's version. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Or
okay.
something. Like you did Home Depot, like okay, you did Walmart, like that. Let's hit up the Lowe's. I think he's done like 3 of those videos. One of them I think went over 100K. Like goddamn. Alright. It's kinda interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know what these companies are gonna do about Home Depot though. Once enough people start learning about buying some river rocks and stuff like that, that's really seems to be like, what are they gonna? You're gonna keep selling substrate for like $30 for like a small bag? Like I don't know.
Well, it's you're not gonna find the small gravel at Home Depot. You'll find pea gravel.
Yeah.
But you don't find the smaller, like the actually aquarium gravel. They don't carry it.
Well, sand.
It'll come intermixed in what they call paver sand. Because I've used paver
Okay.
sand, and I
Okay.
like that sand because it looks so natural when you aquascape with it, because it's got the different size of granulation. You have sand, you have a little bit gravel, a little bit bigger, but it's dirty. It's got a lot of dirt, and that's why people don't like it. Plus,
Or
most
maybe
people that
the
would
dirt
use,
is the stealth benefit to it.
well, I don't ever wash substrate anymore. I did it one time, and it was a pain in the ass. I
Yeah.
forgot who I saw somebody was using the pull filter set and said, "I'll just do a water change and it clears up." And sure enough, it cleared up. And ever since then,
That's mostly what I do. Or what I learned is, oh, if I use a fine sponge filter, it just collects all that stuff. And it's fine.
you got to wring it out a few times. Do
Yeah.
that.
Or when I do a water change, I'll stick my hose like on the sponge filter and like see all the gunk go into it out of the sponge. Like I'm slowly starting to add fine sponge filters to all the tanks. I'm like, this is the way. I got to do this. I love it.
Well, that's what all my sponge filters are. They're fine sponge filters. What happened to the one I was kicking around down here?
I was gonna say, what the hell? Are you over top of an aquarium?
No. I was gonna show you that they're all. I had one that fell and I was kicking it under the desk.
I'll let you sit on sponge filters right now.
But I kicked it out too far away and I can't reach it.
Okay.
But yeah, I was sitting up here and it fell and I was just messing around with it. But yeah, you're not going to sleep today, are you? It's already 5 o'clock in your neck of the woods.
What do you mean? I sleep all the time. What's the problem?
Sleep all day or what?
Hardest working. Let's go. Nah, I can't sleep all day. I can't, but I'll sleep for a little bit. I do intermittent sleeping.
You're too young to be doing that shit. You're gonna get old quick.
Hey, it's gonna happen eventually.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna jump off of this because I got some shit to do tomorrow. And
all right.
But thanks for coming up and hanging out for the last few. Well, it's almost an hour.
Come on, man. Let's go. Anytime.
All right, man. You take care. Everybody that was with us, thank you guys for hanging out. We'll see you.